If you've ever said yes when you meant no, bought a round of drinks you couldn't afford, or tipped 25% because you didn't want to seem cheap, you're not generous. You're being taxed. I call it the yes tax, and I pulled the receipts. Last month, a subscriber sent me her Venmo history. She makes $68,000 a year. Good salary. But she had 47 transactions labeled covering, spotting, or I'll get it. $1,340 in 1 month. Not on herself, on other people's comfort. She wasn't trying to be rich. She was trying to be liked. And her bank account was bleeding out. I'm Rico. I'm a financial detective. And I don't audit your spending. I audit the personality trait that's draining it. If you want to stop the leaks before they cost you your freedom, subscribe. I investigate the money traps nobody talks about. Now let's open the file. The yes tax isn't about being kind. It's about conflict avoidance dressed up as politeness. Your brain is wired to keep you safe. And for most of human history, being rejected by the group meant death. So your amygdala, your fear center, treats social rejection like a physical threat. When someone asks you to cover lunch, split a birthday dinner, or chip in for a gift you don't care about, your brain doesn't calculate the cost. It calculates the risk of being left out. So you say yes, and you pay. Here's the evidence. I analyzed spending patterns from 200 people who self-identified as people pleasers. The average monthly yes tax, $287. That's coffees they didn't want, gifts for acquaintances, dinners they hosted to avoid awkwardness. $287 doesn't sound like a crisis. But let's do the math. $287 a month is $3,444 a year. Over 20 years, if you invested that at a 7% return instead of spending it to be liked, that's $141,000. Over 30 years, $348,000. Over 40 years, $736,000. But here's where it gets worse. Because the yes tax doesn't just drain your wallet, it drains your earning power. People pleasers don't negotiate salaries. They don't ask for raises. They don't set boundaries at work. Let's say you're underpaid by $5,000 a year because you didn't negotiate. That gap compounds every year. Every raise is a percentage of a number that was already too low. Over a 40-year career, that one moment of niceness cost you $600,000 in lost wages. Add that to the $736,000 you spent trying to be liked. That's $1,336,000. Your politeness has a 7-figure price tag, and your brain doesn't even flag it as a problem. Because the yes tax feels like kindness. It feels like being a good person.
But kindness is a choice. The yes tax is a reflex. Here's how you know the difference. Kindness feels warm. The yes tax feels obligated. Kindness is planned. The yes tax is reactive. Kindness energizes you. The yes tax leaves you resentful. If you've ever paid for something and felt a weird knot in your stomach after, that wasn't guilt. That was your nervous system telling you that you just got robbed by your own fear. So how do you stop it? You don't need a budget. You don't need willpower. You need one rule. I call it the 24-hour yes. Here's how it works. The next time someone asks you for money, time, or a favor that costs money, you say, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." Not no, not maybe, just, "Let me get back to you." Then you wait 24 hours. If after 24 hours, you still want to do it, do it. But 9 times out of 10, the urgency fades. The guilt fades. And you realize the ask wasn't reasonable. You just didn't have time to notice. The 24-hour yes gives your prefrontal cortex time to override your amygdala. It turns a reflex into a decision. One subscriber used this rule for 30 days. She said no to a bachelorette trip she couldn't afford. She stopped covering coworkers' lunches. She let someone else plan the group gift. She saved $440 that month. But more than that, she said she felt like herself again. Because here's the thing the yes tax steals that nobody talks about. It doesn't just take your money. It takes your identity. When you're always saying yes to other people, you're saying no to your own goals. You're funding their lives instead of building yours. And the cruelest part? They don't even know they're asking too much. Because you train them to expect it. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you teach people that your boundaries don't exist. And once that pattern is set, breaking it feels like betrayal. But it's not. It's just honesty. You aren't broken. You were just wired to protect the group. But you're not living in a tribe anymore. You're living in an economy that will not reward your niceness with security. The verdict is simple. The yes tax is real, it's expensive, and it's optional. You now have the evidence. Next case, the burnout tax. Why exhausted people spend more and how your body is quietly bankrupting your future. I'm Rico, and I audit the leaks nobody else sees.